Yes, now I'm going to show you how to make a danger room. And what is a danger room? Well, a danger room is a room like this, where the melee dwarves will train, and they will be continuously poked by spears from below. Training spears, that is, not actual dangerous spears. You want training spears that hit them, just like you want training axes to be used by your dwarves when they are training against each other. And training spears and training axes are created in the carpenter's workshop, and you create them by pressing A, and then you can see here training spears, training axes. You want at least a training axe per dwarf, and I think sometimes the woodcutters might actually take a training axe, so you have to create some extra training axes. You need to create loads and loads and loads of training spears. This can take some time to set up an actual big, good danger room, but when you get it up, it will be very, very effective. Just in a couple of months, your dwarves will have improved significantly in many of their military skills, especially as you can see here. I've used a danger room here. Some people consider this a little bit cheaty. However, it's using the original mechanics of the game, and since the training, the normal training way is far too slow. It takes several years to dwarves to actually reach any type of legendary skill in any of them. So many people like me sometimes use this. The first skills that they are going to increasing is actually the weapon skill that they will using, the shields, and the armor, and perhaps dodger. I'm not sure. Dodger usually takes a little bit longer time. And as you can see, these other skills here, they're only leveled very, very slowly when they're hitting each other and when they're hitting other monsters. So these skills here will be very quickly maxed out, and they are very strong skills to use in battle, especially shield user and axe dwarf if they're using axes. And dodger is also very good. Shield user, a max shield user can block almost anything, and a very good dodger will be able to dodge most stuff also. Now let's get into how to actually stop a danger room. Well, you need like a area like this, a small room where there are, and you want 1 or 2 doors like this, and you need to have the doors closed for pets. And how to make them closed for pets is by pressing Q like this, hovering over them, and then make them pet passable, or as they originally are, keep it tightly closed. If they are tightly closed, the pets will only get through if a dwarf goes through at the same time. Now this can be very important if you have a few cats. As you can see here, this cat is bleeding. It has probably been in here in the danger room, and then I'll let it out by opening the door. However, it's very likely to die because animals can take the danger room for very long, but dwarves with much armor like this can take the training spears for a very, very long time. Now, to create a danger room, you start out by pressing B for building, and then capital T for traps. As you can see here, traps levers. And then you want upright spear or spike traps. And then you need to place it somewhere like this. The red markings here is actually where I already have the traps. And then you can see the selection of the spears you can put in it. And you want the training spears in it, no other spears. You can have up to 10 max. The more you have, the more effective they will be, of course. However, the more you have, the more spears you need to create before, and the longer time they need to set up and stuff. So it has sort of a trade-off. As you can see, it's black here, but that's just because I have some problem with the Phoenix Phobos, I mean Phobos training, Phobos graphic setting at the moment. As soon as I actually press on them, it comes up like this. Let's see now. Yeah, and when you're done, you press df for done selecting, and you have to go up and down here, plus and minus. When you've selected something, you press enter, and you deselect the thing you selected here by pressing Z, like as you can see here. Then, when you have actually created all the spheres, or many spheres, at least some, it doesn't have to be filled, it can just be some here in the corner, some here. You need, of course, the dwarves to train somewhere close to them or on them. You need to they actually need to stand on them at some times. And then you need the spear traps to activate when the dwarves are standing on them. And you do that by building go into traps, pressure plate. And a pressure plate is built by using mechanics, just like all the other traps in the game. And to activate the trap by your dwarves, normally these are only activated by an exact thing you're selecting, and I want them creatures to trigger it, and I want citizens to trigger it. This of course means your dwarves. Citizen trigger. And then I need to reduce the weight on the actual pressure plate, so it's so low enough that the dwarves will actually be able to trigger it. And I think it's, I'm not sure, I think it's 10,000 this dwarf, or perhaps it's a lot lower. I usually have it on 1000 because that's the lowest you can have. And then if I were to press enter now, it would use some kind of mechanism like this, and then they will build the pressure plate here. You of course want the pressure plate to be built somewhere where as many dwarfs as possible are going to walk over it. And in my case, I build them here next to the most active furnace I had, smelter I mean. And then I actually manipulated the traffic around the pressure plate so that the dwarves more often walk over the pressure plate than around it. And to do that, you press D for designation, and then I think it's O for traffic. And as you can see here, I've selected low traffic around here. You do that by pressing L, and then selecting an area like this, low. And to get it normal, I press N and select an area like this, and now it's gone. Low means that the dwarves are less likely to walk into the area. High means that they are more likely to move over the area. And as you can see here, I got low around it and high over it. You can also use restricted traffic area, which is even lower than the low traffic area. However, it will not actually restrict the dwarves from moving over the area. It will only highly decrease the chance of them taking that route as compared to any other route. And then when you've done that, you need to actually link up the pressure plate to your spear traps. And you do that by pressing Q. I think, yeah, you press Q then A, and then you go to the link up spear spikes. And as you can see, I got some spikes here that I want to link it up with. And then I just choose the spikes here, going up a plus and minus, only plus and minus, nothing else. And then it needs two mechanisms to connect the pressure plate with the spear trap, like this. And now the mechanic will go down here, he will link